And we're live.
Yeah, I like Supernatural. I've shat on Supernatural many times. It gets better as it goes. Steady pace throughout its run. There's a season around 5 or 6 where it's quite bad. But my complaint has always been that they've got an amazingly cool premise, and that is that these two brothers travel the United States in a classic car, fighting monsters because monsters exist. People just don't know it. Vampires and werewolves and all that shit, demons, angels, all that stuff. And I thought that's the coolest premise ever. But their special effects budget seemed to be about the same as mine. And they just couldn't fucking cut it. Like the Wendigo episode, like season 1, episode 2, like it's just shitty CGI and they shoot a flare gun at it. And it's like, real bright. They can't see shit. And so many times it was like if they needed to make a dragon, well, they just put some like weird contacts on a human and make it so when he touches stuff, it gets hot. It was lame, so bad. But now in season 12, where I am, the special effects are quite good. It's a very violent show. People get their brains blown out on a weekly basis. Last week, Hitler was brought back from the dead. His soul had been kept in this pocket watch, and so they take Hitler's soul out of the pocket watch, and they put it in. They find an ancestor of Hitler. They take all of her blood out, and they put it into this other Nazi who has sustained himself since the 40s with black magic. So now he has the blood of Hitler, so he can take in the soul of Hitler. So they put Hitler's soul in this dude. He pops up and he's like, "Finally, yeah!" And Hitler's jumping up and down, super excited that he's out of this goddamn pocket watch after like an eternity of living in it, or like 60, 70 years of living in it. And one of the characters ends up killing Hitler. Spoiler alert. He fucking blows Hitler's brains out, and that's it. So for like 2 or 3 episodes afterwards, he's like, "Killed Hitler," and they're like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." And he like tells them the whole story and brags about it. I like that about the show, that there's not just continuity, but like realistic continuity. Like if you kill Hitler, you're gonna be bragging about it for a while. You're gonna be telling
conversation.
Yeah, every time you run into one of your friends who you know will believe you, because like, an average person not gonna believe that you killed Hitler. That's insane. But if you run into one of your friends who is like down with demons and angels and shit, you tell them you killed Hitler, they're gonna be like, "For real? God damn, boom, fucking hell yeah, awesome, Dean killed Hitler." And I don't know. I like that show a lot. Their special effects budget has improved great.
Do you remember when they stopped the Titanic from sinking?
Yeah.
I liked that one. And like it changed a bunch of subtle things about history.
Yeah.
Like, I think they drove a Mustang. I'm not sure about that.
They were what they were doing is
increasing
changing
the amount of
historical
souls in the world.
Yeah, they were rolling some extra souls over, so that because souls are like a power source for the angels and demons. Like they're like one soul is 100 suns, I think they said, or something like that, or 10 suns worth of power or something. Because at one point they built a soul bomb to take out God's sister, and they need like thousands of souls to like compress.
God has a sister.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. God's sister. You get to meet God eventually, and God breaks it all down. Like he starts writing his autobiography. And it's like chapter 1, why I don't answer prayers. Like chapter 2, why I never intervene. And it's like, God damn it. And the guy's reading this like, "This is good stuff, God. This is your best work yet." I like the show because it's very, as ridiculous as it is, and clearly it's ridiculous by my summarization. There's also a lot of biblical stuff mixed right on in that's entirely accurate. One of the main characters is Castiel. The Nephilim, of course. But one of the main characters is Castiel. Castiel, I think, is like a 13th century Jewish angel. Maybe he's the angel of Thursdays or something, or he's like the angel of Godspeed, or I don't remember. But Castiel,
I'd rather have Godspeed
from the Bible.
Thursday.
Heaven forbid you're the angel of Mondays and no one likes you.
Yeah, you're just.
But, you see Lucifer and Michael and a lot of the biblical
characters. There's the
characters.
angel of Thursday, in the back.
And we watched F is for Family too, right? Are we all done with that?
I want to like that show so much because it's Bill Burr, and I like Bill Burr, but this show just isn't good. Like compare it to any other of the cartoon funny shows, even Family Guy, and I'm not like the biggest Family Guy. Like Family Guy's fucking funny though. Like this, it's just not on the same page, and the storylines are so like I can be halfway into any episode, and I can tell you exactly how it's going to end because it's basically just the same formulaic sitcom, but with cartoon people instead. And it's just not very funny. And I've been carrying the water for it, wanting to like it for so long. And I just don't that much.
They can't find a good balance between so realistic it hurts and fantastical. You kind of got to be one or the other in most animated series that are fun. I really liked the episode where that baseball player with the dented head like goes ape shit and like takes out all the black supremacists. Like, I liked that part in particular. I thought it was great, especially when like the crowd like this guy like hulks out, right, and just beats up all these black guys who are armed. And I think he kills a couple of them or something. And the crowd is going wild for him. The crowd of reporters, the SWAT team, all the hostages that were previously taken. And then he's like, resegregate baseball, and they're all like, like I like that little nuance about his character. That the character with the dented head. He's great. If the whole show were about the antics of Frank's workplace, it might be better. If we didn't have to know about the children at all, remove them from the fucking equation. If we didn't get to hear about the wife's salad bowl or whatever, or salad tossing, remove that. If the whole show was Frank at the airport dealing with Chauncey and that fat, disgusting boss, and that dented head freak, and the goings and comings of an airport and those antics and the characters who would be flying in and out all the time. You could have weird, goofy characters always showing up. They could have some fun with it. But as it is, they're trying to be a slash between Roseanne and The Simpsons, and that doesn't work.
Oh, dude, so there's a couple things. The relationship of the two brothers is making me crazy. It's not funny. It's just sad, and it's awful parenting. If the two brothers are treating themselves like that, the parents need to intervene, and I hate it's so awful. 2, the fat, disgusting ex-boss of his is so fat and disgusting. It's a test just to sit through it. I will change browser tabs. I'm watching it on Netflix in my browser tab. I will, just so I don't have to see him. But just having to hear him slop down cottage cheese while he talks is so...
With his frostbitten fingers.
Are they frostbitten? There's condoms on every finger. It's disgusting.
No, the rat... Remember, he got trapped. So because he got trapped in his...
I have Alzheimer's disease.
Have you ever been trapped in a Cadillac for 72 hours in the -2-degree cold? Realizing
have you ever had to been cut out of a car that hadn't been in an accident? That was a good fucking line. He has to live in his own car for like 3 days, shitting himself. He's like, I have to drive with the windows down now. All of that's funny. I will give you this, Woody, and I agree with you. In the same way that Rick's drool is a bit gross and off-putting, and it's like takes you out of it a bit. That guy stuffing down the cottage cheese with his gross fingers was just, it took me out of...
times 10 to me. Like, I don't like...
I agree. It's just in the same league, you know what I mean? Like this guy, animation grossing you out. And it's that cottage cheese and the whole thing. That was gross. I don't care for that. And it's not funny to me either. I thought that character was very funny, but he'd be funny as like a 300-pounder instead of a 500-pounder. And less gross.
You mentioned Rick. Do you remember how adorable it was when we thought Rick and Morty was coming out like a year ago? And then it eventually came out on April 1st, and we were all so excited, and it was a gift on April Fool's Day, and I didn't believe it was real until I was like 2/3 through the episode. And then nothing. It's June now, and there's still no episode 2. Like, what are they doing with Rick and Morty?
My thoughts are there's probably 2 possibilities. One is that Cartoon Network has a plan. You know, they know Rick and Morty is their a tentpole series for them, and maybe they're trying to like get something else to slide in there. But that's me under the presumption that they are all finished with their production work. I think it's more likely that this is taking a really long time for them to get done. I don't know why. I've heard Justin Roiland say that it's just taking much longer now. They don't know why. They're just like, it just takes a lot longer to get this job done now for some reason than it did earlier on. So maybe they just don't have it ready. I know it's coming though, and I'm willing to wait.
I wonder if the magic is gone. Like, if something's going wrong while they're making it. Taylor, you think it could be possible too?
I'm a little worried about it too, because it's one of those shows where so much of it is because it's a cartoon show, and it's not the funniest cartoon show out there as far as getting raucous laughs and stuff. Like, though, I'll get funnier laughs from South Park. You know, for example, I mean, putting something up against South Park is a very difficult thing because they're kind of the titans there. But so much of what carries them through are the interesting plot twists and the different dimensions and the scientific, hullabaloo and all that. And it's interesting and it keeps you engaged. Lots of shiny, weird nutsack creatures all around. And that archetype, I really think, can only take you so far. It's only a matter of time until they just start going to more ridiculous places and more, asinine plot twists until it's like, is this even the same show anymore? Like they're just making it ridiculous. I hope so much that it stays good, but it seems like these shows where it's like all hinging on one dude, Roiland, I guess his name is mostly, that and those kind of shows have a lot of difficulty having longevity most of the time. Sans South Park, because it's just like, those guys are going to get worn out. Like, how much do they really have in the tank about Rick being an alcoholic with his nephew?
Like
there's a ton of funny
comedy
shit.
Special. Like, I feel like oftentimes the first comedy special is amazing. It's all your best stuff that you've been building for the last 30 years. And then your second comedy special is the things you didn't put in the first one. But by the time you get to your third one, it's all the stuff you were able to do in just 12 months. And it's not good anymore. Yeah,
it's kind of how you're right. Like a lot of specialists from stand-up comedians, they're better at first because they're they're more not pure. That's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. But
this wasn't their first cartoon.
I'm really just trying to tamp down my expectations because I really, really want it to be good as as the first two seasons were. I think I've rewatched them 5 times each because I think they're great. But I don't know. I'm almost mentally preparing myself like there's no way they can strike. I'm
calling
it. Lightning will strike a third time.
It will strike a third time. This will be their best season yet. It will be more content and better content, and I say that confidently. And I believe that because in episode 1 of season 3, they kill their entire villain. They get rid of the entire. They get rid of the entire consortium of Ricks. They get rid of the entire intergalactic power force, whatever that was. And you don't do that unless you got somewhere to go. You don't do that unless you got somewhere to go, and it's got to be big. They just replaced their.
Archer does it every year, and they're not getting better.
Archer's a whole different story. Archer's been on a downhill slide for years, and this season is trash. I
watched one episode.
I regret purchasing this season, and that's rare. You've really got to fall really into a shitty series for me to regret a $20 purchase for a whole season. But it's bad. It's bad. It's not good. He's in a goddamn coma, so nothing that happens matters. And this is the final season.
What are you buying it on? Sling or something?
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah,
You can buy it, and then every week as it comes out, you get it. That's how it works.
Yeah, as soon as it comes out, it's like you already own this video, and it's usually delayed a day, I think, because that's how I get Better Call. All these shows that we're mentioning right now, that's how I get them. Like Better Call Saul, it's the same thing. I was so irritated with that Memorial Day bye week that all of my favorite shows had that last night it rolled over. I don't always catch it when the show, because there's a break between when the show will air on say FXX and when it will be released onto Amazon for purchase of sometimes it's if it comes out at 8 p.m. then 4 a.m. the next morning you can get it, and that was the case last night. So I was up pretty late. I'm not working on much sleep right now. I've had a lot of caffeine.
Hyped up.